If you know you love kissing, please, you need to watch this interview, because what this physiologist is about to say right now is going to make some of you very uncomfortable.
If I happen to have the kissing disease, immediately I put this in my mouth and bring it out, and my friend collects it and use it immediately. You might end up contracting this thing. The spleen is a gland in your body that helps to filter blood. If this particular gland becomes enlarged, it might burst, and if it bursts, it might bleed into your abdomen. If you want to kiss, you should take precaution. You should be very careful of who you kiss, so you don't wake up one day and go ahead kissing random people you see around your neighborhood or on the streets. You might end up with this disease and you never can tell.
So you said people that kiss, that they have to be very careful. What do you mean by that?
Yes, what I mean by people that kiss have to be very careful is because there's an infection called infectious mononucleosis, which simply means kissing disease. Yes, it's something people are not actually aware of. So we have kissing disease, infectious mononucleosis. This is to tell you that it's more like of a viral infection, and there's a particular virus that causes it called the Epstein-Barr virus. That's the particular virus that causes this kissing disease. Now, if you're the type that maybe enjoy kissing, and without kissing you can't do and all of that, it's something you must take note of, because I'm very sure that about 92% of people are not even aware about this infection called infectious mononucleosis, which is generally called kissing disease or mono. Yeah, it's in existence, but people are not aware about it. People are not aware about it.
Wow, this is something that I've never heard in my life before now. So, people that kiss, what is your best advice for them? People that enjoy kissing.
That's why I keep saying that sometimes it's actually advisable that even before you do some certain things, try as much as if to even go for a test. At least you must not be sick before you go to the hospital to see a doctor. You can go for a routine check. Check your heart, check your lungs, check your chest and all of that. You can do a routine check. So for those people out there who actually love kissing, at least if you want to kiss, you should take precaution. You should be very careful of who you kiss, so you don't wake up one day and go ahead kissing random people you see around your neighborhood or on the streets. You might end up with this kissing disease and you never can tell.
What are some other diseases that people do not believe exist? And these are things that anybody can, people can actually get it by doing something so usual, so normal.
Okay.
Just like kissing.
Yeah. Okay. For example, now we even have, HIV is very popular. People know about HIV, but sometimes there are other parts of the country who are not properly sensitized. They are not aware about HIV. Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody on social media right now that doesn't know it.
Yeah, you are right though. But if you go to some interior villages,
I understand what you mean. There are people who don't know.
There are people who don't even know what is.
So when they start seeing certain symptoms, they feel like it's a spiritual thing.
Exactly. And one thing with HIV sometimes is that when a person has HIV, if you get exposed to it, sometimes it takes 2 to 4 weeks before you see symptoms. But sometimes sometimes it can be asymptomatic, which simply means that you might have it and you might not even see the symptom on time, but it's already in your system. So that's why creating awareness is very, very important.
Is there a possible way someone can have HIV and later on not have it anymore?
Yeah, I think it's very possible. Do you know why?
Why?
Now, for example, if you're exposed to HIV, there's something we call PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis. Okay, it's more like when you're exposed to HIV, those are kind of a medication that maybe a doctor or a professional medical doctor after clinical examination might want to give you to take after 72 hours of exposure. And when you take it consistently for like maybe a month, the viral load will be suppressed, and before you know, you might even find out that you're no longer having the HIV again. You can't trace it. That's why after going with PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis, when you're done with your medication, at least a week after also, you're supposed to go to the hospital to also see as much as possible you can go for test to check if the virus is still in your system.
But the way you're explaining it, you're sounding like HIV already has a cure. And you have to be very careful with what you say because of the people watching. Yes.
What I'm trying to say, HIV does not have a cure. It's based on management.
Okay.
Yeah. What I just called now, just like a prevention.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I just mentioned, PEP, is just like a prevention method of HIV. That's why we have
Oh, yeah. So somebody can contract it, but if you take that prep so quickly,
yes,
it can
do you understand?
deal with it.
Do you get?
Okay, makes sense.
Yes, you might not be aware of the person you met. In your mind, you might feel like maybe you are exposed. Okay, that is okay. Let me take PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis. When you take it, it's clear off. It's just like a way of preventing yourself from getting it into your system.
Yeah, into your system.
Yes.
Okay,
That
makes sense.
it doesn't
but
mean that
if you don't do that initial stage and the thing now establish itself as HIV,
it's part of you. It's part of you. Why? Because that post-exposure prophylaxis that a doctor might prescribe to you, a qualified medical professional might prescribe to you, is just given to you just to take maybe within 72 hours. After 72 hours and you take it, it might not work again. That's how some medications are made. Yeah. So that's why I'm talking about that. So now for people who might have maybe hepatitis, for example, I told you that this hepatitis basically can be caused by a viral infection. Yes, hepatitis is there. Some people are not even aware there's hepatitis. That will also the way we have kissing disease as well. So for kissing disease, if you have a kissing disease, there are symptoms that you might be having. You might be having symptoms like sore throat, fatigue. That means extreme tiredness. You might be having symptoms like that too when you have it. And if you also have it as well, this kissing disease, you might be feeling muscle aches and weakness. Yeah, there are also signs.
These things you are mentioning are just like things that can happen to anybody for being even stressed in the first place.
Exactly.
Why don't you go in details to talk about? Because if you just mentioned fatigue, tiredness, body pain, someone that has malaria can think that that's
exactly. Those are more like symptoms that can mimic. That particular symptom I just mentioned can mimic many other symptoms. Yeah, that may happen to somebody.
So what are the other things that they have to see before they know that?
Especially the sore throat is very important.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very important. So they will also put that into consideration. But what must be put in place is that many of us don't know when we are exposed to this particular thing. Yeah, because you might have it and the symptoms you are having might be maybe malaria, typhoid and all of that. So that's what makes this particular one a bit dangerous, because you might not be able to detect on time that this is what is happening to me. So if you don't go for checkup, for hospital testing, to see a doctor, you might not know what is wrong with your system, and that becomes, with time, it might cause problem to your health. Yes. Apart from that, the fact that this kissing disease have symptoms. Now there's something we call splenomegaly. That's more like enlargement of the spleen. The spleen is a gland in your body that helps to filter blood. If this particular gland becomes enlarged, it might burst. And if it bursts, it might bleed into your abdomen, causing internal hemorrhage. That means bleeding in the visceral organ. Just like in your abdomen, there's bleeding, there's blood everywhere. And that will need urgent medical attention so that they can get rid of the internal hemorrhage. Because if they don't, it might lead to another problem, which could even lead to death if care is not taken. So that's how dangerous this splenomegaly is. I know you might have heard about red blood cells, right? Now, our red blood cells actually takes about 120 days in the body system. After that 120 days, they need to be destroyed so that a new one can come up. It is this spleen that they are destroyed inside. That's why basically sometimes we see that the spleen is the graveyard of red blood cells. So the spleen is a very major gland in the body as a woman. So if the disease is already into you and you're not aware of it, it might lead to something else. Especially the spleen will suffer it more, because it might lead to the enlargement of the spleen, and that will become a health challenging issue. That's why it's good to always go to the hospital for routine check and also see your doctors. It's not all headache that you have that is malaria. It might be something else. Yeah.
Could be underlying.
It could be underlying health diseases. So
it's always important to do regular checkups to know if you're fine.
Yes. It's very important.
Now, what are some ways people can live to avoid being vulnerable to things like this? Because there are people, especially you doctors, you will come in contact with all kinds of people.
I'm a physiologist, as I said earlier.
Physiologist.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that you work in
the clinic, yeah.
So you handle patients, do you?
Yeah, I do ECG procedure for them.
Okay, so somehow you get exposed to all kinds of people.
Yes.
Do you understand me? So how can people, especially bankers, if not that COVID-19 came, we started seeing bankers using nose masks. We have markets women and people that do jobs where they get to deal with people like waiters. I don't know if you understand what I mean. How can these kinds of people protect themselves? What kind of lifestyle? I hear that if your immune system is strong, sometimes even if you come across somebody who has hepatitis or HIV or any viral infection, it might be very difficult for you to get it.
Okay, now another thing I would like to let you know regarding the question you asked is basically the fact that maybe, for example, I'm still focusing on the kissing disease. If there are many ways this kissing disease can be transferred, the major one is through kissing. The secondly is through sharing up of your cooking utensils. That's the reason why you see that I brought this spoon outside. If me and you are eating now, and maybe I tend to have the kissing disease, I eat with this spoon. I remember back then in the village, we used to have friends, right? You eat with this spoon. Your friend, please give me, I'm hungry, and let me they'll try it. If I happen to have the kissing disease, immediately I put this spoon in my mouth and bring it out, and my friend collects it and use it immediately. You might end up contracting this thing.
What about people that eat eba? They'll round themselves eba and soup. They'll use their hand to take eba. Everybody is dipping their hand, put it in their mouth. The saliva is going back into the soup.
Yes, the major thing is the saliva.
Can they contract hepatitis or any disease through that? Okay,
you know that, for example, hepatitis can be gotten through bodily fluids, right? And through blood. And sweat is one of them.
Even saliva too.
Yeah. So it's also one of them.
So one can contract it from that.
It's likely possible.
But you're not so sure.
But I'm not so sure about it because it's something I've done before while I was growing up. I've eaten from plates with different people before. Yeah. So nothing happened to me. And look at me here. Yeah. So
I've seen situations where somebody has hepatitis, but the rest members of the family don't have it. But they all live together, they share the same spoon. Sometimes they don't even have that sense of awareness that, this person has hepatitis.
Okay.
Like, they know, but they are mostly not conscious about it. So they live freely with that person. They share almost everything with that person. But they themselves, they've never had it. So sometimes when I hear these kinds of things, now makes me worried about how diseases spread. If what we've been hearing about how diseases spread is actually the way it really spreads. Or some people just have really, really strong immune system that they don't contract something like this. Or maybe sometimes diseases expire at some point. I don't know. That it no longer becomes contagious again. I really don't know.
I believe that any disease that is contagious will actually be contagious. Like this kissing disease I told you. If a person who has it should cough or sneeze now, and the fluid maybe make contact with your body, you might end up getting it.
This thing you're calling kissing disease, what's the name again?
Infectious mononucleosis.
Infectious mononucleosis.
Yes. Yeah. So we need to be very careful because it can be spread through kissing. It can be spread through coughing and sneezing. With an infected, if the person is affected and maybe you are close to the person, you might end up having this thing. And the worst part is that most of the viral infection, they don't actually have a cure. That's the worst thing. So when you have a viral infection and you see your doctor get to examine you, get to check you up, and you might end up getting prescription to manage yourself.
I interviewed a guy recently that said virus.
I think I watched it. He said virus does not exist. Yeah, I heard when you say.
Did you watch the full video on YouTube? It's like an hour long.
No, I don't watch it on YouTube
if because I heard he took his time to explain. But me, I'm not in that medical field, so
okay.
I am not in the position to tell if what he's saying is true or false.
I listened to him. He said that virus does not exist, and all of that. Was listening. I was like, okay,
What do you have to say about
maybe it could. See, some people's immune system are very strong. That's just the fact. Some people have strong immune system.
that? He said that the way, if you go to the lab,
Yeah.
they say he talked about how bacteria are discovered. Easy bacterial infections are discovered, right? He said that same process is the way you are supposed to also discover if a virus is truly exists. But that process, there's a way this guy explained it. I don't want to confuse my head like this. There's a way he explained it, and it's kind of difficult for me to explain right now. But he used scientific methodology to talk about how maybe a goat has bacterial infection. You collect a sample
from the
a
goat.
blood sample, then you insert in another healthy goat. You give it some time, then you now take that blood sample to now check if it's the same. If you find out it's not the same, you still do it on another distance.
You have to do it like 3 times.
Yes.
To check.
They said that's how he's a lab scientist. So that's how you establish if bacterial infection truly exists. But that same process, it has not been established that virus has been discovered in that same process. That nobody has ever held something and said this is it. That the only thing people have about virus is a digital representation.
Okay.
Do you understand? That is that round thing with so many.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that gives us an imagination of what virus
looks
is.
like.
You understand? But scientifically they've never been able to say, okay, this is it. So he took his time to explain a lot of things.
He's a scientist. He's a lab scientist, and most of lab scientists studies virology and a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think he might have in-depth and good knowledge about what he's saying. Yeah, so I won't say.
A lot of people were so mad about the video. I saw comments. I had to take it down on Instagram because people felt it was misinforming people.
Okay.
But then I left it on YouTube because YouTube is a searchable platform.
Yeah.
So for people who want to do research, people want to hear people's other opinion, they can go to YouTube, search about viruses, and that video come out, and they'll hear about this young man. So, but Instagram, it's more like you're pushing a narrative.
Yeah.
You understand? So I just had to delete it. Is there anything you would like to talk about again?
Yeah, even from based on the same hepatitis. Now, there's something I wanted to talk about. The hepatitis itself, I told you it's caused by a viral infection, right? But there are some factors that can trigger it. There are some factors that can trigger it, like toxins. Toxins.
What's toxins?
Like poison. Yeah, toxins. Yeah.
Okay.
Like toxins. They are also one of them. If there is, one of the functions of the liver does what we call detoxification, right? So if the liver fails to do that, all those toxins might build up and might lead to maybe inflammation of the liver. And remember that hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver caused by a viral infection. So it can also lead to the inflammation of the liver. Another thing that can also cause is autoimmune disease. When I say autoimmune disease, any disease that can affect that can cause the immune system to attack its healthy cells is an autoimmune disease. I'll use one example, for example, type 1 diabetes. This type 1 diabetes can cause a liver condition called glycogenic hepatopathy. Don't mind the big word. It simply means that there is abnormal accumulation of glycogen. And this glycogen is a form of glucose that is stored in the liver cells, resulting in liver enlargement and elevated liver enzymes. That's why I used to hear about alanine transaminase, alkaline phosphatase, all those liver enzymes.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, that's why they will tell you that, I want to go for liver test, LFT, liver function test. When you go for liver function test, what they are checking is those enzymes in the liver to see if they are above normal range. That can signal something in your body. So type 1 diabetes as an autoimmune disorder can also cause can be a trigger for hepatitis 2, and also have Graves' disease. The Graves' disease affects the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is somewhere here on your neck. Yeah, your thyroid is there. Your thyroid produces tyrosine, which is a hormone. Now, your thyroid helps in metabolic activities in the body. Now, if you have Graves' disease, for example, the Graves' disease can cause excess production of this thyroid hormone, which can pose maybe a kind of, it can create this high energy or metabolic demand on the liver cells. The cells of the livers are called hepatocytes. So if there is high production of these thyroid hormones and it's posing too much demand on the liver cells without a corresponding increase in blood flow, it can also lead to elevated liver enzymes. And at this point, they'll have to test for liver enzyme to check where the problem is coming from. What I'm trying to say in essence is that that's the same reason why it's also good to also go for your thyroid function test. Because you never can tell where the problem is emitting from. We also have celiac disease. Those ones affect the intestine. We have myasthenia gravis that affects the muscles, causes weakness of the muscles. So those are autoimmune disorders as well that can also serve as a trigger for hepatitis. Those things are things we need to know or we have to have at the back of our mind. Hepatitis symptoms can come in form of jaundice, yellow discoloration of the skin, or sclera of the eye. When you're looking at your eyes, the white part of your eye is called the sclera. Some people the white part tends to be yellowish. It can be an indication for jaundice. And also some people are also there that they'll be urinating dark urine. When you see all those funny symptoms like that, don't take them for granted. Please, my viewers, when you see symptoms like that happening to you, rush to the hospital. See your doctor. He might tell you to run some tests. Do some tests. Then find a better way of treating yourself as earlier as possible.
That's if your eye is getting yellow.
Yes.
You have to run to the doctor.
Because it's going to be looking strange. Yeah, it's going to be looking strange. So you need to go and see your doctor. Remember, as I earlier stated in the first video, I keep repeating that most of the content or the teachings are based on informational and educational purposes only. If you want to seek any medical attention, please find your way to the hospital and see a professional doctor. As I always stated, I'm just a certified physiologist with vast knowledge about reproductive health and cardiac health. I'll keep briefing you guys anything that had to concern the human body system.
I enjoy the way you talk.
Thank you.
The way you explain things in a way that anybody would understand. I feel like this is something God has blessed you with. And don't let anybody bully you to make you feel like there are certain topics you can't talk about. But then, if just do this so well that it's hard for you to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening. The way you are explaining, articulating so effortlessly, there are people that sometimes I need to tell them, okay, this is how to express yourself for media, but I didn't have to do all this for you. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I've been a tutor before. While I was still in school, I organized tutorials for students, teaching them cardiovascular physiology and all of that. Even before I got to the university, I was teaching. After secondary school, I was teaching students. Yeah, so I built up myself. I actually love teaching. It's something I have passion for. Yeah, so that's why any topic that cut across me or I come across, I will do so well that no matter what happens, I will still explain it to the depth. That's some of my tutorial students that I left after school, after graduating, that still call me today. That when are you going to come back? Are you not going to become a lecturer? I said, no, that's not the calling. But anything that God says will happen. So here I am. I never believe I'm even going to be on your Lucky Udo experience in my life. I've never thought about this thing before. I've never seen myself sitting down here or getting to know you in real. So I think God have a purpose why some things happen sometimes.
Yeah, build yourself. You could even start a YouTube channel. Do you understand? Now, YouTube is not something I really recommend for everyone because it is not easy as certain people make it seem.
Yeah.
But I think for someone like you, because you explain it so easy, somehow people would always find you. YouTube is a searchable platform. So the idea is that people go there to search things. How to make jollof rice.
Yeah.
How to change my car battery. So if you can search a list of topics that you think people should search or people should know, and you are consistent, people will discover you. And most times, posting on YouTube is not because you are trying to make money. Sometimes you can get lucky and you don't know who will stumble upon it from a different country and feel that, you know what, I think there's an opportunity for you to, you can't tell. So you are putting yourself out there to the world. You are not confining yourself to just a classroom with people who might not even know the value of what you are teaching them. But you are putting yourself to the world beyond classroom, beyond where you work. So it's my best advice. Don't do YouTube because you are trying to make something. It might not come. I always tell people that I started posting on YouTube since 2017, but I never made anything from 2017, 18, 19, 20, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Now I ever got my first YouTube paycheck. 8 years after. Do you know what that means?
Consistency.
8 years of sweating, sacrificing, taking loans, selling properties. It was a lot. So I would just advise you to start. Just do it for passion. Someday you will not be able to believe. Maybe see Aproko Doctor how he started. At first, nobody really noticed him, but at some point, today now he's somebody that everybody tags him. Yeah. What do you have to say about this? He always likes to make videos about. So, and I don't think there are so many people occupying that niche in Nigeria. So I feel that for someone like you, you know what? We need to have more interview sessions, maybe that way. But the only problem is that since you're not a doctor, a lot of people will challenge you. Yeah. That's the problem. But if there are things you can talk about, it might not even just be only about what a doctor should say. Yeah. It could just be something somebody who is knowledgeable should talk about.
Yes, I think that I have a lot of things that even relate to my...
You can be talking about these things, and from there you build that, people get to see you, know you. Yeah. And, before you start building your community, I don't know if you understand what I mean. So there are so many things to talk about. I like the way he talks. So because he explains himself so easily. Because
at times, there's something called SpO2. It's one small device we used to check pulse and level of oxygen saturation in the blood. So there was time I was at work. I was just sitting down. I look at the instrument. I was just playing with it. Just let me make a video with it. That's how I pick things and start talking about them. Yeah, so that's how I do my things. I must not really be that, okay, I must be into this particular thing before I do that.
As long as you think you know about
it, exactly. Just want to educate people. Exactly. Yeah. That's how I go on with my lifestyle. Impressive. I might just be sleeping overnight and I might wake up 2 o'clock sitting on the bed and idea just drop.
Are you based in Abuja
yet? Yes.
Okay. Let's work on certain topics. There are so many topics to talk about. For example, obesity is something that is eating up so many people. For example, if I remove this pillow now, you see my tummy. So it's something that I never knew that this was a reality that was waiting for me. If I should show what my picture used to look like many years ago, I didn't see this coming. So I think somehow it's possible that lifestyle leads to things like this, and so many people don't know. So while we are going to educate about how people can get rid of things like this, we can also educate to save people so they don't face the same reality.
Exactly.
And I noticed something. I was a friend of mine. I was talking to a friend. She notices that anytime she calls me, I'm always lying on the bed. And she said, "Lucky, do you know that I've never seen you sitting down before?" So your bed is heavy, and that's why you find it so difficult to sleep. Yes. Like I couldn't sleep last night till 6 a.m. This morning I woke up around 8. That's just 2 hours sleep. So when your bed is your go-to place, if I'm not here interviewing people, I'm either driving in my car or lying on my bed. And it's a problem.
It is.
So when you are always on your bed, your body doesn't even know when it's time to now sleep.
Exactly.
Do you understand me? Because you are always lying down. You lie down to press your phone, to watch movie, sometimes to even eat, to make calls, to do everything. So when do you give your body that signal that, hey, young man, it's time to sleep?
That's why, unlike me, I keep saying things about sedentary lifestyle. You eat, you bathe, you go to bed, you wake up. You don't do exercise. You don't even stroll around. You just go to your car and drive out. At least try to walk out.
That's me.
I'm very glad that I can see what is in front of me. This TMT.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very, very good.
Why are they laughing?
Very, very good.
There's a reason they're
So
laughing.
I feel like by the time I begin to make money or I have my personal house, I'll buy things like this too and keep in my house for morning exercise. So in the hospital, we also have this in the hospital.
It doesn't cost so much.
Yeah. So we try to check for exercise tolerance. How long can you do exercise? How long? What is your strength that you can take when doing exercise?
The problem is I don't use any of these things. So
That's one of the things.
So sometimes I do tell my staff, let's go for strolls in the evening. So they accompany for evening stroll, can stroll for like 1 hour, and that helps.
Yeah.
But to just consciously come here and start,
it's really nice.
I don't. So another thing, I've been procrastinating from going to the gym. You have a question? Oh yeah, bring it now. Nobody will hear you from there. Come here and ask your questions. You want to write it down?
She love writing.
You don't want to show your face. Okay. So, there are so many topics to talk about. Obesity is there. People struggling with different types of addiction. Yeah. Do you understand? There are like so many things to talk about. Awareness is to raise. So many things. So from time to time, we'll be making.
I think there was a time I talked about dehydration. Why I need to drink water. Because if you don't drink excess or if you don't drink enough water. Okay, let me share a short story. I traveled from Calabar to Maiduguri. That was how I was posted for my NYC. I camped there. But the weather was something different. I've never been in Maiduguri before in my life. So for me to adjust to the weather, it was a problem. So most of us that went to camping there, we end up going to the bathroom. Whenever we are urinating, we are shouting. I've never experienced it in my life before. Ladies will be urinating blood and come to the camp clinic. That this is what is happening to me and all of that. Not until they discovered that it was the severe dehydration that was causing that to happen. So when I was in camp, I was in the clinic. I'm a physiologist. See, I'm so happy that I studied physiologist and I'm very, very proud about it. Anywhere I go, you ask me from now till tomorrow, I'll be proud to tell you that I'm a physiologist and I'm very happy about it. I know where my physiology have took me to. It has granted me access to work in some health care settings where I'm permitted to go to surgery room to watch surgery live and direct. So while in camp, some ladies will come urinating blood. Some guys will come shouting, my penis, I can't pee. They'll be shouting. Even me, it happened to me. I'm a living testimony. A witness. I'm a victim of it. It happened to me. So not until one of the doctor in the clinic told us that this is actually severe dehydration that is disturbing us, that we should drink too much of water, but we should avoid too much of cold water. We should just buy pure water and be taking. In camp, you buy ice and mix maybe Coke or Pepsi inside and drink. He said most of us should stop doing it. That we should just drink normal water, buy a bag of pure water and take it. It's going to help. I started this not up to 1 week. My pain I was feeling on my genital when urinating vanished.
So at some point you felt it was gonorrhea.
I've never met with any girl like I've not been exposed.
All your life.
Do you understand? Before going to camp and all of that. Okay. Yes, I've not been exposed. So I cannot just have that just overnight. So when it told us that and we started drinking water, everything went. And I feel alright. Because at some point I had to call my mom in Abuja and tell her that this is what is happening to me. They were scared as only child. You understand? So that's one thing. So sometimes we need to be very careful and very, very careful. So drink enough of water because water is healthy for your kidneys. If your kidneys don't have enough water, if they don't find enough water, doing ultrafiltration is a process in the kidney. Ultrafiltration, selective reabsorption. If they don't see enough water in your body when filtering, what they will do is that some other substances in your blood like protein and all of that, they start filtering them. Then you start urinating and peeing and urinating protein in your urine. And when you keep urinating protein in your urine, it can be an indication for something. Sometimes it can be indication for kidney stone. From there, you start urinating blood. Kidney is in problem. So we need to, that's why water is very essential. For my viewers, for those of you watching me, I would even advise you to always drink much of water than soda drinks. Yeah, most people dwell on Pepsi, Coke, soda, but water is more preferable. So try as much as possible to drink much of water to keep hydrated and keep your kidney in good health. Because if they tell you how much dialysis costs now,
It's a lot of money.
it's a lot of money.
So a staff of mine has a question. She said, what do you have to say about patients with hereditary conditions like people that develop inherited diseases?
Okay. For example now, do you know that diabetes can be inherited? Yes, some people can inherit that. That's why sometimes in the hospital, a professional doctor might, when they discover you have diabetes, they'll be asking you a question during clerking. They'll be asking you family history of diabetes. Do they know a family member have diabetes before? Those are things can be genetically passed on to you, even hypertension too. We have primary hypertension and secondary hypertension. The primary hypertension is this type of hypertension that it's due to lifestyle sometimes, meaning that your high salt diet. If you're the type that take too much of salt content in your food, you might end up developing hypertension with time. It's just like you have water and salt in your body system, because in your body system we have sodium and water. There's a hormone called aldosterone. The aldosterone is a hormone that helps to absorb water and sodium in your body system. So imagine consuming excess of this salt content in your meal. It will also double the amount of the sodium in your blood, thereby causing you problem, and which can cause increase in extracellular fluid volume. Before you know it, you discover that you are ending up having hypertension. Problems start. Lifestyle. People that smoke, that take tobacco, another thing. So those are things we need to limit. We need to avoid them.
Now, when somebody has a hereditary disease, is it possible to fix it that it doesn't pass on to the next generation?
I can't say much about it, because I think a professional doctor will be in position to talk more about that. I once had somebody, I think he had hypertension, and it was a heredity type, meaning that she got it from her parents at 22 years. And she had been battling with it. People like that, what you can do for them, maybe it's just for you to advise them. Don't take too much of salt diet. Make sure you keep away from things that will keep you on a high level of salt content. And if they can try to manage their lifestyle, try to see what they can do, it can also help them in a such way too. And they should also be checking their blood pressure from time to time. It must not be heredity. As far as you have hypertension, at least try as much as possible to have a logbook where you'll be recording your readings morning, night, every day, at least for 1 week. People that have it, and maybe a professional doctor already giving them medication. While taking the medication, you should also be checking again to see the effect of the drugs, of the medication you are taking. Because most of the medication for hypertension, they are called vasodilators. Vasodilators are more like some things or drugs or medication that can open the blood vessel. They widen it so that blood can flow through it easily. One thing with hypertension is that the pressure that is required for blood to pass through the arteries, the blood vessel, is too high. So imagine you have something like this. Maybe the diameter of my hand is 5 cm, which simply means that if blood is flowing from my mouth down, it can flow peacefully without any force. But imagine if it's like this. If blood wants to flow, it will need enough of pressure to push the blood through it, and that might cause problem to the blood vessels, leading to hypertension. That's one thing that we need to know about, and it's very, very important. We must know it. The kind of food we eat. For those of you that love warm-blooded animals, your best meat is beef now. As you keep eating beef or anything you eat that have high fat content, animal fat and all of that, they're not too good for your blood vessels, because with time they'll start clogging your blood vessels, causing you problem as you are aging. If you want to eat, you should be eating cold-blooded animals. Example, fish. Your fish is very good.
Fish has fat now.
fish has fat, but it's a white meat. That's cold-blooded animal. It helps. Apart from that, most of those meats we eat, maybe like fish, some of them can even have omega-3 fatty acids that can also help you too.
So you don't eat meat right now?
I'm selective when it comes to meat.
But I chopped that meat just now.
Was that beef?
You don't know. Wait till you choose swallow.
So do you understand? But what I'm trying to say, I'm just creating awareness. Do you understand?
Don't worry, I keep
Yes, I'm creating an awareness. Your lifestyle changes matters. Your lifestyle matters a lot. So there's some things we need to start avoiding so that by the time we are growing older, they don't become problems to our health.
They don't threaten our
They don't
health
threaten
and
you
our
and your
comfort.
yes. Yeah.
So you said you recommend fish. I put listening more than know it when I go to stock for meal.
Yeah, fish is very good.
Rabbit meat. Oh, I thought they say white. Okay, rabbit meat is even brown meat. Abi, red meat. Rabbit meat is white. And because I know I've heard of that is better. Then I love snail too.
Yeah, snail is very good. Yeah, you know periwinkles. Are you from
I
Calabar?
grew up in Port Harcourt, in the south.
Okay.
So periwinkles, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I love it.
With
If I
afan
always
soup.
tell them that whether I'm making me okra, egusi, put periwinkle.
You need to try periwinkles and yam porridge
Yam porridge.
Yeah.
I might have had it.
or
though.
potato porridge. It's
I
very,
might have
very
had
nice.
it. You know, there's this thing this Calabar people make. It's called epan cocoa.
Yeah.
It's cocoyam with
Cocoyam.
pamoy, and then they put periwinkle but with the shell.
Yes.
So I've had it.
It's really nice. I've tasted it before. So it's really,
I've
really
eaten
nice.
it like a lot of times.
So I from today, at least you're going to learn something new today. So you can now be a fan of fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
And apparently, I don't really enjoy fish. If anybody wants to make me fish, you have to smoke it for me to enjoy it. I don't like boiled fish. Why would you even just boil? It's either you're smoking my fish for me properly. Like, it has to be well dehydrated, right?
I'm actually thinking of going to catfish business.
Okay.
Yeah, dry catfish business where it is smoked.
What inspire you to do this? I mean, now what you see online?
No, it's not online.
No go
thing.
bankrupt too.
No, it's not actually what I saw online. I sat down and was thinking of what kind of business
Swear.
I will start
Say
with.
no be that fish magnet
No.
guy.
It's not that one. No. Anytime I think about this video, I'll be afraid.
No, he's not even afraid of what happened to me. So rest in peace. This
Yeah.
is not even a good time to talk about him. But I'm just trying to say that, you know, if you see somebody succeeding so well in something, that does not really indicate.
Exactly. But what made me
But
think
you know-
about it is the fact that I have some audience on TikTok who lives in Canada, Australia, and UK that might even want to even buy or order from me if they
Why
notice.
don't you be a middleman instead of? There's always somebody who sells it at a very affordable price.
Okay.
That is not exposed as you are. That does not even have the opportunity that you do.
Okay. This is the fact. The thing is going to come from Meduguri Fish Market. I'll buy it from there. Already smoke and all of that. Then I'll now package it and sell it out.
See, there are so many ways to do it. If you have a market for this, there's a way to go
Okay.
about it. A way to go about
Okay.
it. You know, when I used to travel around the states of Nigeria to film people, I went to Jos. I saw this young man who he does hydroponics farming.
Okay.
Hydroponics farming is a system of farming where you plant without soil.
Okay.
And you know, I filmed him, posted it on social media, and goodness, the exposure that guy got. I received a call from Anambra State government. I received a call from, I cannot tell you how many governors called me because of that video. Everybody wanted this young man. I even brought him as an instructor on my academy because my
Okay.
second company, apart from media, is an academy where
Okay.
people go to learn
Okay.
skills. And he had so many students. He made millions. Do you understand? So what I'm trying to say is that there are people out there that do not have so much exposure. So you could try to, although what I did for that young man was entirely free. He never even paid me for that.
Okay.
Everything was, I'm sure he will never forget me. this
Yeah,
way.
it will not.
So what I'm trying to say that there are so many people that are doing that business. you may attempt to do it, but you might not succeed
Exactly.
like them.
Yeah.
So sometimes you could just being a middleman is even helping them because you are bringing them market.
Yeah.
Do you understand me? And you're also satisfying the customers who want this too. So,
and I think also, I told you I was a tutor, right? So there are some students I have that I actually teach how to do ECG examination. When you come to the hospital, if I'm talking ECG, it's just it's just a very short procedure we do just to check the heart's electrical activity to know if the heart is functioning very well or if the heart is in good state. So that ECG is very important. It can be done for routine test, or even your doctor can recommend it for you to do, just to make sure. So I had
they'll put different wires on your body.
Exactly. Now. So I also had the feeling that I wanted to get that machine and partner with a hospital. I know that I'm going to be the one in charge of the ECG section.
Yeah.
So that if we're working based on percentage, I will understand. But I'm already sure that the machine belongs to me. So I can't.
How expensive is this machine?
When you want to get a new one should be around 3.5. But I had one of my Oga who trained me in teaching hospital in Calabar. Recently, about 3 weeks ago, he posted one on his WhatsApp status. I think he might be having family emergency. So he said he wanted to sell it out. I then asked him, how much do you want to sell it? He told me 700,000. So I was like, so I had to make contact with some of my friends in UK. I'll talk to this one. One will send me that I'm having a project at the moment. I don't think
it's not so expensive now.
Yeah, but you need
take loan now. Talk to your mom. Talk to people. Sell off a property. That is how you know if you truly want
it's actually when you have a property you can sell. Actually, my mom is a teacher though, a primary school teacher. Yeah, so I'm the only child. Okay. Try to see how I can.
Okay, you are still trying to find your own footing too.
Exactly. Okay, I'm not. Forget about the every.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like we are all trying to chase
exactly.
Now.
So
I understand.
I'm just the one like everybody want to look up to, and I need to. Yeah.
So this machine now, 700,000. What is your plan? If you have like, because you don't know who is watching that might just be interested to.
So if I basically could get the ECG machine, for example, now, as I earlier said, I might look for a hospital and partner with them.
You found one first.
Okay, fine. There is.
And why would the hospital want you to partner when they could easily afford that machine themselves?
Okay, good. The thing is that the hospital. You know that on TikTok, I was talking about ENT, ear, nose, and throat, and making videos and all of that. ENT basically it's a specialist hospital. It's not like a general gynecology hospital where they can recommend ECG for patients, chest pain, difficulty in breathing. You go and do the ECG. In ENT, they only focus more on ear, nose, and throat. It's a specialty. So one of my uncle owns the hospital actually. But it's actually not part of his plan to buy the machine since it's not going to be operating gynecology. So, but he actually needs it because before some surgeries, he used to, send patients to do ECG even outside to bring the result.
So if he has,
if I have it and I'm working with him, no patient is going out. Like when I told you I was going for an interview, was it last week in Gwarimpa? He said, what position? I told the EKG technician. He asked, okay, I just pray. He prayed I get it so that he can possibly be sending patients to me from his place to come and do it there. So imagine I have it and I'm working with him. It makes it more easier. Yeah, that's what I feel like. Okay, so his life is all about planning.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Of course, that's what it is. I mean, you have to plan and fight for what you want,
Exactly.
So what's your Instagram again?
Charles Ode.
Charles Ode. So you've watched this for a while now, and if you have interest to speak to him personally, you could check him up online. Charles
Ode.
Ode.
Yeah.
How is it spelled?
Odeh. That's Benue.
Odeh. Okay. And then on TikTok,
it's Flying Physio.
Flying Physio.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for this.
You're welcome.
You know what you're doing? You're educating people. You're simplifying it. When people go to Wikipedia, it's boring to read anything from Wikipedia, trust me. but you are simplifying it. You are making science, you're making biology, you're making health easy and interesting for people to watch. This means a lot. Really appreciate. Thank you for blessing this episode of
Thank
the
you.
Lucky Udo Experience. We really appreciate. And thank you guys for watching till this point. At this juncture, we have to say goodbye. Thank you very much. Please check us up on Spotify. Search the Lucky Udo Experience. Don't miss an episode. And please let your friends and loved ones know about this platform. If you help us to grow it, we'll keep bringing more interesting conversations here. Thank you very much, and let's say bye to the viewers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.